In a stunning move that could reshape the future of the federal workforce, the Supreme Court has sided with President Donald Trump's administration, upholding the mass firing of over 16,000 probationary federal employees. What does this mean for the future of government jobs in America? Are we witnessing the beginning of a new era in federal staffing, or a breakdown in civil protections? Stay with us as we unpack every layer of this explosive legal battle. On Tuesday, the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration, allowing the controversial termination of thousands of probationary federal employees to stand. At the heart of the decision was the court's decision to grant an emergency administrative stay, blocking a lower court order that had temporarily reinstated those employees. The Supreme Court's majority concluded that the plaintiffs, 9 nonprofit organizations who sued to reverse the mass terminations, lacked standing to bring the case forward. In the official statement, the court said, the district court's injunction was based solely on the allegations of the 9 nonprofit organization plaintiffs. But under established law, those allegations are insufficient to support the organization's standing. This case stems from the Trump administration's sweeping dismissal of an estimated 16,000 probationary federal employees, many of whom were working in departments like Veterans Affairs, the Forest Service, and the Bureau of Land Management. Probationary employees are more vulnerable than their full-time counterparts because they are not protected by the same civil service laws. Until they complete a set probationary period, they can be terminated more easily, and that's exactly what happened under the Trump administration. Critics argue the firings were politically motivated and executed without sufficient cause or due process. But government attorneys maintain the dismissals were based on poor performance evaluations, a claim hotly contested by former workers and advocacy groups. Just last month, Chief Judge James Bradar of the District Court in Baltimore had ordered the Trump administration to reinstate the fired employees and submit a full report explaining how agencies would comply. He also barred any future mass terminations of probationary staff, unless they followed existing federal protocols, such as providing a 60-day notice period before termination, as required under civil service laws. The ruling sent shockwaves across Washington, as thousands of former employees anticipated getting their jobs back. But the Trump administration immediately pushed back, calling the judge's order an overreach and disruption of federal operations. In its final filing to the Supreme Court, the Trump administration, through Solicitor General John Sauer, argued that the lower courts had exceeded their authority by interfering with internal executive branch decisions. He wrote, "Courts do not have license to block federal workplace reforms at the behest of anyone who wishes to retain particular levels of general government services." The administration insists that even if the firings were eventually deemed improper, reinstating thousands of employees is not a legally justifiable remedy. They warned that forcing rehiring would result in widespread chaos across federal agencies. The plaintiffs in the case, led by the American Federation of Government Employees, strongly criticized the Supreme Court's decision. They argue that these firings have crippled critical agencies, such as the Department of Veterans Affairs, which was already grappling with staffing shortages. They also warned that cuts to agencies like the Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management have had lasting negative impacts on the protection of public lands and resources. According to them, the Trump administration's actions have caused irreversible harm to the functionality of the federal government. 2 justices, Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, issued strong dissents, stating that they would have denied the emergency stay. While the majority of the court emphasized procedural grounds, the dissenting justices appeared concerned about the broader consequences of allowing mass firings to go unchecked. So, what happens now? With the Supreme Court's decision, President Trump's administration has the legal green light to continue implementing federal staffing reforms, even if it means terminating thousands more probationary employees. But questions remain. Will this ruling embolden future administrations to bypass due process for federal workers? Will Congress step in to tighten civil service protections? And how will this impact the morale and integrity of the federal workforce? This is more than a legal skirmish, it's a defining moment in how the U.S. government treats its own employees. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage on major legal and political developments. What are your thoughts on the Supreme Court's decision? Was it justified, or a dangerous precedent? Let us know in the comments below.